In this video, we will learn about comparator and chain comparator in Java 7. Let's start. Let's create a new class name, let's say Chain Comparator example. Let's add the main method. Let's run and see this message is printing or not. See, it's printing. Let's create a class name, let's say employee. Add 4 basic variables like employee ID, name, age and date of birth. Add a constructor for these 4 variables. Now let's create some employee list. Here I am generating 10 employees using this for loop. I am using random class to generate random number so we can create difference between employees. For date of birth I am using local date, so this concept I covered in my previous video. Instead of creating employee object, let's directly add into employee list. Now add for loops so we can print this employee list. So to print proper result we need to add to the string method in employee class. Now let's run and see employee list is printing properly or not. See, it is printing properly. Only thing is for age random number is generating 0. So let's change the variable, so instead of employee age change it to employee salary. Employee salary should be in double. Here let's generate random double value for salary. Let's check now. See, salary is showing properly. See here 4 different types of values are available, like ID is an integer, the name is a string, salary is double and date of birth is the date. Let's add simple comparator for sort this employee data based on employee ID. Let's see how to do that. Let's create an inner class for ID comparator. This class will implement comparator interface. Now we need to override compare method. Here just add simple logic like e1.employeeID compare to e2.employeeID. This way also we can use, but better we should go with the getter method. Now replace this employee ID with the getter method. Now let's see how to call this ID comparator. There is a method available in collections class, so method name is sort, and this sort method accepts 2 parameters, one is a list and other is comparator class object. So let's see how to call the sort method. See, it is simple. Now use this for loop also. Let's run and see employee ID sorting is working or not. See, this is the data before sorting. See, it is working as expected. Similarly, now let's add comparator for the name, salary and date also. Don't worry, it is very simple. So here instead of ID now let's use employee name. See, it is simple. Now let's create salary comparator. So here instead of the name now let's use employee salary. Now let's create date of birth comparator. So here instead of salary now let's use employee date of birth. See, 4 comparators are ready. So like ID comparator, let's see how to use name, salary, and date of birth comparator. Now let's check sorting is working or not for each and every comparator. ID we have already seen earlier. Name comparator is working fine and sorting data based on the name. Salary comparator is working fine and sorting data based on salary. Date of birth comparator is also working fine and sorting data based on the date. I hope you can understand single comparator. Now let's see how to create chain comparator. So chain comparator is the combination of two or many. So for example, sort data based on ID and name or salary and date of birth. So like single comparator, let's create a class and chain comparator. Class name, let's say ID and name comparator. Here also implements comparator interface. Let's override the compare method. But here we will not use directly ID or name. We need to create a separate variable for ID and name, and for each we need to call compare to method. Let's see how to do that. Create a variable for ID compare. Here use code as we used for ID comparator. Similarly, let's create a variable for name compare. Here add a condition like if ID comparator is 0 means 2 ID are equal. Then go inside and in return check name compare is 0, that means both the names also equal, then return ID compare, otherwise name compare. And at the end return ID compare. Don't worry, it is a simple condition. Now like other comparators, let's see how to call this chain comparator. See, it is very simple. See here, maybe we will not see the exact output because for chain comparator we should have the same ID for multiple employees, then on top of that it sort the name. But no doubt it will work the way it should work. Here we don't have that kind of data, but here is the desired output. So here you can see sorting happens based on ID first, that if multiple records have the same ID then it sorts data based on the name. I hope now it is clear for you. So instead of using compare to method directly, we can use ID comparator also. See, this way also you can write chain comparator. So like this. Now let's create a chain comparator for salary and date of birth. Now write this comparator also same as earlier. That's it, changes are done for salary and DOB comparator. See, it is working fine and returning the result. Let's review whatever code we added. I hope this video is helpful for you. Then please press the like button. That's it for this video.